Hey guys, Outdoor Enthusiast 88 here again. I wanted to do an install video on some new Ruger Tech Sights that I got. These are the TSR200 series Tech Sights. They're very high quality, and the biggest deal is putting these on for better accuracy out of your 1022, and these go for any 1022, including the Takedown. I know what you're going to say. The Takedown, comes apart in two sections, so how do we know it's actually going to line up and stay zeroed every time you put it back together? Well, if you keep on the 1022 Takedown, if you keep this little nut here, see how it will click. If you keep it adjusted so it's nice and tight, when you actually install, or not install, but when you put together your 22 every time, it's going to lock up really firm and straight every single time, which is good. So you don't really have to worry about it coming out of alignment every time. And you can see I have played around with this. I've put red dots on it before. I put a scope on it before. The scope rings kind of left a little bit of marking on there, a little bit of kind of gunky oil that is kind of stuck to it and kind of discolored the metal. But what I'm going to do is you put the rear Tech Sight aperture right here, and you put the front in the dovetail in the front here. So I'll tell you, the hardest part of this job, and I did it before this video started because it takes quite a bit of effort, is getting this front sight off of the dovetail, because it is actually welded on, very lightly welded on. If you can see, I'll zoom in for you. You see a little white mark there? That's actually a weld part. And basically it's welded to the dovetail on the inside there, right in the middle and the back. And you got to hit it left to right and knock it out this way. And basically what I did was I used, to try to not mar it up too much, I used a punch. I don't have any brass punches, but that would be ideal. I used a steel punch, and I went ahead and put a piece of cardboard in front of it and then just smacked it. And I wrapped this in a vise in like a cloth, and you wrap this in a vise and just smack it. And with enough times of smacking it, finally breaks that weld there, that soldering piece there that it did. And now it'll slide right in. But that's the hardest part of this job, knocking out the front sight post. So without further ado, let's jump right in. I already took the staples out. This is actually a GI type, so it's going to kind of mimic like your typical AR iron sight or your military rifle iron sight. Got instructions, works on all 1022 rifles. Got some parts here. These are all metal, by the way. They're all metal parts. Get the front sight post, rear sight post, Tech Sight. This, like I said, this is these are the TSR200 version. There's also a 100 version that's a little bit cheaper by about $6, and the difference is that one has a flip-up aperture, which is a little bit wider, and you also have a little bit smaller like this one. This one I got just because of the flexibility of actually sighting it in. You have multiple. You have the post in the front that can go up and down, and you have this thing, the rear aperture can go up and down and side to side. So if you really want to make sure you can get sighted in, because sometimes, depending on the rifle, you might raise this up too far, can't fit it in, what have you. The other neat thing is, though, you can get separate posts. You can get aftermarket posts for this, which you can get the glow ones or whatever, to get it in there. Little toolkit. Instructions. Shows you the inner workings of the rear sight. Pretty complex, a lot of springs and everything, trying to keep it under tension, keep it sighted in. You also get the parts list here. All right, so it says drift off the front sight post, already done. Take the new sight post. Drift it on. Let's see which way it wants to go. Oh, there you go, slides right on. All right. Make sure it's nice and straight. There you go. As you can tell, it is definitely higher than the other one, but you get such a longer sight radius too, because you could just flip this or keep it down, or you can take it off or whatever. All right. Go ahead and take your handy dandy pocket knife. Open this up. You don't need the knife anymore. Got a couple of wrenches. Got some screws. All right, so what you want to do, take one of your Allen keys here and go ahead and grab one of these flat heads right there. Make sure they fit nice and snug. You don't want to be stripping any screws. And actually there's two types of Allen keys. There's a smaller and a larger. Smaller looks like it's for the front sight. Larger is for the back sight screws. So what you want to do is remove the two button head screws and stop the washer from right there if they're assembled. Just read and make sure there's nothing I'm missing here. Make it easy for you guys. So the socket screw is last, all right? And this socket screw right here needs to be, has a small amount of Loctite. So you will need Loctite for this job. So what you want to do, grab this, grab your little washer, drop it in there, grab your little screw. What I will do is, I'm just going to install these for you, and then what I'll do is I'll go back because I need to make sure I sight it in. If I don't want to see how much I need to drift it at all, and I'll go ahead and install Loctite just to save time on the video for you guys. But Loctite everything, basically. This is a iron sight setup. Loctite everything because you don't want the front sight post drifting off at all. Careful when screwing these down. All right. Now you got this set screw. See what we got here. Here it is right here. So you go ahead and you're looking at their little set screw. This one looks like it's the bigger hex wrench. So go ahead and grab your bigger hex wrench. Bigger screws, bigger hex wrench. And start tightening her down. And this is the first time, guys, I've ever actually installed these before. So, you know, we're kind of doing this for the first time together. Oh, I didn't line it up right. All right, so it does go at an upwards angle. So see that? Something to keep in mind. For some reason, it keeps going in crooked. Let me see if this is off tilt or anything, because it's stuck in there, but it's not really staying on. Here, 1 second. All right, we're back, guys. So what I did was I read the instructions again just to double check I'm not going to give you guys wrong information. These two button screws and the set screw in the front, so you got two button screws, one on each side. You have a set screw in the front. The button screws need Loctite, and you can torque those down, you know, nice hand tighten. The set screw you do not want to over tighten because you can actually crack the sight. So that set screw in there, got a flashlight, I'll help you guys out. That set screw right there, do not over tighten. But what I found out was you actually have to hold the rifle against the ground like this, turning the screw, it goes in like that, right? You actually got to push it pretty hard because the threads are a little bit further down in there. So you want to push it really hard and then tighten it down, and then hand crank it down as much as you'd like. And of course you want to apply Loctite to that. But this one, they say do not over tighten that set screw, because that is one of the most important pieces. You could crack the sight. And actually, well, I hope you guys see here. If you can see, that screw goes right through the middle. See that? So it actually connects to the side. So that's tight, nice and tight. You can actually use a tool to sight in the front sight, just like an AR. There's a little pin. That's some bright stainless steel. Yeah, there's a little pin in there, right in there. You just push down, turn it left or right, depending if you want to go up or down. So that's done. There you go. All right, next up is the rear receiver. And this one, actually, I have the original screws in. So go ahead and grab yourself a little screwdriver set. Go ahead and unscrew these. Maybe it'd be nice if you had a little bit smaller one that actually fit what you're trying to do. And obviously save these set screws, because you never know if you want to put them back on, if you get sick of the Tech Sights, you want to put a scope on there, whatever you want to do. If you just, if you want to switch them up, you can actually leave the front ones in. I actually don't know why they're coming out a little bit, but what I'm actually thinking about doing is the Ruger 1022 Takedown comes with a rail, a nice, looks like almost like an aluminum steel colored rail, and basically, one thing we're doing is like chopping it off right here and then leaving a rail up here, Tech Sights in the back, if I end up liking the Tech Sights. I'm going to give the Tech Sights a little bit of time to, see if I really like them, if I enjoy them or not, and then I'll go ahead and install the new rail system. And I'll kind of chop it down and make it fit. That way, if I ever want to put a red dot or something in front of the Tech Sights, I can. So these line up with the back 2 screw holes, and only the back ones. It will not line up to the front. So you have only one place to put this. And it's pretty simple. You got 2 screws here. Go ahead and line her up. Drop your screws down there. Again, put Loctite. These are actually flathead screws. So go ahead and use a flathead driver. And again, like I said, get Loctite on there because you don't want this wiggling off, especially in the field. If you're on the range and the front or rear sights start freaking flopping off and falling on the ground when you're shooting, that wouldn't be good. So get those nice and tight, nice and firm, looks great. There you have it. So that's it, guys. I mean, Tech Sights on the Ruger 1022 Takedown. They look great. It raises up your sight picture so you're not looking as far down. And this gun is designed for beginners, for shooters, but I know a lot of us, a lot of adults especially, they really enjoy shooting the 1022s, and they're phenomenal rifles. They work really well, and this will help kind of give you a higher cheek weld as well as give you a longer sight radius by about 8 inches, if you can see that. So that'll help with accuracy. And then you have this much thinner front sight post. You can switch out for night something glow in the dark at night. There's all sorts of different kind of just paint the tip if you wanted to. Just kind of help with the visualization through the aperture in the back, because it is kind of a small hole. But as you can see, much more accurate, because you'll notice on a hot day, if you're trying to use the original sights, trying to line the post up into here it's doable. They're usable. You'll hear everybody say that they are usable, not the greatest though. So yeah, thanks guys. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel. Comment with any questions below if you need any help with anything, or if you want me to do something different on this. Definitely give me your feedback. So thanks. Have a good one.